Sam, thanks for having me here.
Dude,
it's
thank
awesome.
you so much for coming out. It's so great to meet you in person finally.
I'm genuinely just like a fan of like everything you guys do.
Same.
So.
Your content is awesome. It gets tough, you know, staying in the golf space and coming up with new stuff. But I find all your stuff very interesting and educational. It's good.
Good. Well, like I've had all the putters at this point.
Yeah.
So like I'm excited to walk through and kind of see where they're made. So let's.
And I want to point out the fact that like you do have all the putters, including the DF 2.1, like back when they were forged, back when we were just like a straight up joke almost.
Okay.
And I really appreciate you taking us seriously and giving it a real look and everything. It was great.
Was that one? So I have a red 2.1, like because I think it was like when Adam played at the Masters, right?
Yeah.
Was that made here? Was
Yeah. No, that would have been made in 2019. No, that actually would have been made in Reno. So that would have been factory number 1, and then we moved here to Eugene in 2020.
Okay.
Had a like 5,000 square foot factory, and then a couple years after that we ended up moving into here. First just a small section that I'll show you, and then yeah, now we got this whole building. It's crazy.
It's nuts. Show me what we got. Let's
do
go walk through.
All right, so yeah, this is our R&D space. It's actually like it's kind of its last days. We're about to be ripping it out here pretty soon and making a big, crazy state-of-the-art thing. But the building, when L.A.B Golf Course was built, it was going to be like this whole thing. There was going to be a couple of golf courses, and then this was like the resort building. So this was, for a long time, a health club.
Okay.
And we were standing in the ladies' locker room.
Okay. The ladies' locker room.
If you want to go back there, you can still see that we got the showers there. This is my favorite, this office. This is Kevin Martin's office. He's our senior engineer.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's the sauna.
Is it the sauna?
It's the sauna.
Oh, he's got the best smelling office in the whole company, for sure.
For sure.
So what putters were made in this room? Like what developed out of this room?
So Mez Max, I believe, came out of here. We were making Mez's over at Taylor Street, and I'll show you here in a second the CNC machine that sort of changed our life. So when prior to DF3, all the prototyping we did was sort of out of house. So we'd make a drawing, wait a month to get a prototype, make a few changes, wait another month to get a prototype. And so Mez only had, I think, a total of like 2.5 revisions.
Okay.
And then it went
Crazy.
to market. Yeah,
wow.
It was totally crazy. And it was a beautiful design. I mean, when it came to us, a guy named John Berquist is a fellow that designed it. And when it came to us, it looked great. The engineering piece was tough. And that's what, you know, our guys do. Is like, a shape is one thing, but there's a bunch that goes into making it possible for them to balance. So we got that CNC machine. We did 84 variations of DF3 before it was, you know, what it is
Holy
today,
cow.
and that was enabled by that. And then Oz and everything was done here as well.
Tell me about the Oz over here, because we're looking at this and some of the prototypes. Like, tell me about some of this journey.
As you know, we did it with Adam. The only thing that we kind of knew when we started the whole process was that he wanted a D-shaped mallet. And we looked at some of like old classics, like, you know, Odyssey Rossi 2 was one of both of our favorites. We, you know, both had a sweet spot for that putter, but he also liked a lot of the sort of design language of the Mez, the harder angles and stuff. So that was kind of the task, was to combine, you know, sort of Mez DNA with, you know, like that was like, if we were going to basically make a Rossi 2, that's you know how we would have to do it, and you know, jut this thing back instead of the straight top line. And this one, any of the plastic ones, I don't think ever made it to you know, like actual aluminum prototyping. But then then narrowed it down piece by piece, and it was fun. We'd send him 4 or 5 to try, and he'd give us the feedback on it. And it was always great feedback. He's a, you know, he knows what he's what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he wants, and he helped us design an awesome putter. I mean, this thing it's great. It's our best work. And like, it just, from a manufacturing standpoint all the way to the performance, we're just so proud of it. It's awesome.
I didn't expect to like the 0 degree, but that was the one that I went to. I thought like, oh, for sure. I love the old like 2 degree or whatever it was, you know, 1.5 degree.
The press,
well, then we got it going, and I was like, oh man, no, the new 0 degree is.
It's really
fantastic.
good, and it was just derived from feedback. Like, people like using their own grips. They like, you know, to have that familiar feel in their hands. And the way that this one was engineered got the shaft close enough to the face that it was possible. I don't love a straight shaft when you have the face that far in front of it. This isn't law, but you know, effectively there's now a disconnect between where your hands are relative to where the face is. And so a lot of times if, you swing on a, decent plane, face is getting to the ball a little bit sooner than the hands, the face is still open a little bit. And so I don't love too much onset on a 0 degree putter, but this one, yeah, I mean, if you see it, these aren't drilled yet, but
This one I see.
yeah, it's not that much. It's less than the Mez, and by the time you put, even like a wider super stroke or something, now you're still flushed out in front of the face. And so people have had great success with it. I still personally love the look of shaft lean. Like it does something, when I see the shaft leaning forward, it just prompts a nice low to high sort of stroke, which seems to work real good for me. But it's nice to have options out there. And in the early feedback, was so great to see how many people were stoked that we had that option now instead of messing around with the press grips.
Yeah. Sweet. All right, R&D room, important room.
It's a very, very important room.
It's made some cool stuff.
Just so that it's like documented somewhere, let me take you about where the new R&D space is going to be. And so everything that we're walking through is getting blown out. And then, this space was the pool and the jacuzzi in here, all getting obviously filled in and floored out.
This is the R&D room.
This is going to be this all the way back to to where we were there. Bunch of offices and everything. It's going to be so good. Totally state of the art everything, and we'll be able to see out. Golfers won't be able to see in, but that's the 9th green right there.
Nice.
And yeah, all the toys, all the bells and whistles, and making room for a much bigger R&D team. I mean, we are an R&D company. Science and innovation is at our core, and so it's going to be so nice to finally have a space that matches the innovation.
Just a bit of work to do to get that
Only a
up
bit.
and running. So what happens here? You're not actually like milling putters here, are you?
Me personally?
No, just like
The company?
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely do.
Okay. You're making the heads here.
No. The production heads are made about an hour and a half south of here.
Okay.
A machine shop. It's called Nix's Machining. He made a bunch of aerospace parts, and then we started doing the heads down there, and he's just awesome. He's been an incredible partner. So yeah, he's got machines 10 times the size of this that go up to the ceiling that make one at a time. But this thing, this is the thing that sort of changed our life.
Okay.
It enabled us to prototype in-house. So yes, all the heads that we prototype are machined here. What's that? Yeah, that's just a raw. Yeah, something came out funny with that one there. A little wrinkle in the.
It's like the Oz was prototyped here.
The whole thing.
The DF was
DF3.
prototyped
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
Nice.
And then these things are actually the thing that made L.A.B possible.
Okay.
So this is that, just in a hobbyist format. At the time, like right around when we would have sent you that putter, your putter may have been drilled on one of these, or it may have been drilled on a single-axis Bridgeport mill from the 80s.
Okay.
And when Bill first started doing these things, like I don't know how the original template heads, where they came from, but like we had a head with every lie angle on the wall.
Okay.
And he, if you order a 68, he'd bring it down. He'd place it against this like wooden block, and would lower the mill head into it just to size it just right, and then pull that back out, put a fresh head in, and then actually drill the hole. And it made him like wildly inconsistent, because there wasn't. So these things like upped our game and made it possible for us to make them so much faster, because the drill location. Like a 10,000th of an inch in one direction or another, and the putter balances completely differently. So when we can start getting really accurate holes drilled, it makes a world of difference for us. So yeah, these things are.
It's like figuring out that like 70 degrees or 69 degrees. That was one of the like biggest initial hurdles to figure out like how are we going to do that?
Yeah, or accurately, and actually, it wasn't so much the lie, like the equation that we use to balance, like that's kind of its thing, is that it's an equation, so you plug in whatever lie angle and length and stuff, and then you know where to drill the hole.
Got it.
But knowing where to do it and executing on it are different things, and like, because the tolerances are so tight, like if they would move a lot more on the old mill. And so when I was telling you before about how we're using tungsten and sand, like if it moves a little from one putter to the next, it just takes so long to figure out which direction it needs to go, whatever. So yeah, these things made it so that for the most part, the same weights pretty close are going into each putter the same way, and it just enables us to get them going quicker.
Got it. Okay, so this was version 1,
Yeah.
version 2.
Yeah.
And that was really like, got everything.
Everything changed. Yeah, we couldn't mill putters on those little things. Those
Yeah.
were just for drilling.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, it seems crazy, but this is basically just used for drilling holes. This whole giant machine here. It's the same as that one. It's just a little bit more of a production machine and enables us to load a few more parts in there.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a bummer you're here on the weekend. It's like crazy when this is all
Yeah, I imagine.
moving, but and this is always like the best part of the tour. This is the laser room. So all of these machines here are different types of fiber lasers.
Yeah.
And it's what it's just another cool thing because everyone has to be hand assembled anyway in order to balance them properly. We have head in hand, and long ago we decided to start lasering the lines on anodizing because it's super easy. It's just if something's anodized, you laser on it, turns white right away. It's like nothing. Rather than milling and then paint filling, because it takes a ton of time.
Sure.
And if it takes no time, we now have, at Oz, I think there's like a couple hundred variations of sight lines that you can order, and it's like it's a nothing for us. Plop the head in, done in, I think like a whole bottom logo piece, and then like a busy top sight line probably takes a total of about 6 seconds on each side.
Dang.
Something like that.
So every putter comes through this room then to get lines?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Some of the stock ones I think we get lasered at the anodizers.
Got it.
But and then now we get into the the shop. This is where they're all balanced.
I mean, when you come in here, this is crazy. Like, there's so many workstations in here.
Tons.
Like,
yeah.
you guys are building a lot of putters. Holy crap.
We're building a ton of putters, but also just because of the process itself, like our labor is, I'm sure 10x what our competitors are.
Yeah.
Because again, there's no way around hand balancing it.
Right.
So you have to. This team has grown like crazy over the course of the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And we have this whole training program and I mean, obviously, but like it's a stringent thing now where all these builders are like ranked and, you kind of move into the custom stuff after you've only had enough time with the stock stuff, after you've spent plenty of time gripping and shafting. And but everybody
So these are all like custom orders like that are going out that we're probably seeing?
it looks like it, yes. So sometimes this rack will be filled with all stock, sometimes it'll be all custom, but so they're shafted and gripped over in this area here. And then they all come with their own, or I guess just shafted in this case. And this is a build sheet. And so
Got it.
There's a ton of stuff that goes into every single putter. All these different data points. And they get triple, quadruple, quintuple checked, a bunch throughout the process. But I think, I could be wrong. I want to say, like, when we counted this, somebody asked last time, I think that a single putter, before by the time it's shipped, I think touches 10 hands or 11 hands or something like that.
Wow.
Everybody's a part of, this process. And and then.
Seen a lot of DF3s around here.
A lot of DF3s.
Is that the number one putter from
by far
this year?
Yeah, we were, I think, Oz will kind of mess it up since we released it in November, but I'm pretty sure through November, I think it was just under 60% of our sales, and then everything else, combined.
Right.
Mez, Max, Link, DF.
Yep.
The DF is still there is now the lightest selling, the slowest putter. I think it's like 5% of our sales, the original one. But every time I see one come in order,
everybody's missing out. They
are, man. They totally are.
It feels like nothing else. You gotta try 2.1.
You gotta.
That's what this is. That's what this
the
whole
jam.
video is about.
Get over the looks.
Yeah.
Get over the looks. It's yes, it's big. Your friends will definitely make fun of you. Probably a little less than they made fun of him when he was using it 5 years ago. But
true.
It really, really does work.
You think Oz is going to be bestseller 2025?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. I think that straight grip option is really going to help a lot of folks. It's really easy to look at, and like I love the feel of aluminum, and I've gotten used to it. Mm-hmm. But a ton of people over the years have had a lot of trouble with the way that our putter sounded and felt, and so this one's is going to have like really good curb appeal, I guess you'd say, when you pick it up, and it's gonna have that nice click and feel real good. So this is the QC station here. So every single putter is gonna go through I don't know what it is these days, 15, 20 point check on everything. They clean them up perfect, just tiny little details and stuff. And these are the folks that ultimately decide whether or not a putter goes, gets back on the floor to have something done to it, whether the grip was crooked or something like that. Or if there's like a ding or a scratch that people didn't notice along the way. On the other side of this wall is our factory seconds in the outlet store. So. And like, it's an awesome deal. Like for folks looking for deals on these putters, LABGolfoutlet.com. And so like putters that like you can't, like very, very often do we get feedback of people writing saying, can you tell me where the blemish is? I just want to know, but I can't find it. And like, they're basically brand new putters in a lot of ways. And,
we might have to check that out.
It's really
good. Sucker for a little outlet situation.
Absolutely. This was the men's locker room.
Okay.
This was now our stock room, and oh, look at that.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
A little scratched out logo on the floor. I like that.
So when my buddy Matt was the chief operator for a while, and he and I were the ones that, and mostly him really, that made the transition from the Taylor Street location to here. And we knew the owner of the course just because this is where we play. So we'd asked him if we could it was like supposed to be a temporary thing, and then he's like, yeah, but you have to take the whole health club if you're gonna do it. And we were like, okay, and we were standing here, and there's like rows and rows of lockers. And we were just like, what in the world are we gonna do with all this space? Like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
And then we were out of space in like 4 months. It's just been quite a ride. And then after they're QC'd, they get wrapped up in the plastic. Or the QC putters, they come out from where they were. They come in here and get box and handles. We do store stock putters over there for some of the stores and everything. And
and out the door.
And then out the door.
That's the process.
Yep. And we're gonna spend the next. I think the total plan is a 24-month plan, and every room in this building will get updated and reskinned and all made all perfect and everything. But yeah, that's the factory. We can.
So the Oz just came out.
Yeah.
The F3 came out this year. I was surprised you came out with Oz right away because I was like, oh man, holy cow, they're like coming out with so much product. What's the vision for the next 2 years? Like, you're gonna keep this like heavy?
Yeah, I mean, relatively speaking, it's not even that heavy. I mean, most companies are coming out with once, sometimes twice a year, 3 or 4 models at a time. You know, we like really try to get one perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, we'll keep innovating. I mean, that's like like I just showed you in there. I mean, we're expanding this team to be able to drill down and just make better putters. And the technology, I wouldn't say it's in its infancy anymore, but it's certainly in its adolescence. And there's so much more development, and there's so many opportunities to improve the product, make it more customizable, make it easier to fit, all that stuff. So yeah, we're gonna be going hard on all that for sure.
What do you think are like? What can you improve on? Like, what are the biggest things you think that you can make gains on?
Like for a player using one of our putters?
No, like with the product. Is it? You said Lango Balance is in its adolescence. Is there more you can do with that? Like, can you?
I think so. Huh. Yeah. I mean, the way that we balance, like the equation that we use to balance these putters, we can literally do anything. I mean, we can make them. Thinking in terms of a revealer, we can make the putter do anything. We can make it stay square, which we obviously believe is optimal. We can make it open a little and then close a little. We can make it close a little, then open a little. Like, so there's we'll mess around with the impact of torque in that regard, and do a little bit of that for our tour players. But really excited about modularity in putters, and being able to swap out a face, swap out a shaft, swap out a grip. To be clear, none of this is in the works for any time soon, but
it's a vision for the future, right?
Yeah,
it's like
and this stuff takes years. It takes years to develop truly new ideas, and actually first get them to work, and then figure out how to make them manufacturable, and then figure out how to make them marketable. And but it's just so nice that we can do that now. That we used to have to make choices. We don't have to make nearly as many choices as we used to on. What's going to get priority, what's going to get focus. Like, we can, if there's something we want to do, we can just kind of do it now, and it's awesome.
So I think L.A.B Golf has always been like an innovation company, right? Like, you were first leader with the technology, and like no one else was doing it. Sounds like you want to keep that, like, and keep going forward with that. Of like, hey, let's keep doing maybe weird stuff that like no one else is doing. And
absolutely, and I think one of the cool things about the way that we emerged on the scene was that because we took the beating that we did for, you know, it being weird and whatever, like, we can make weird stuff, and now because the product works, because we know it works, we've seen it work for people, and people are experiencing it, there's a trust there that we have that, yeah, I think enables us to not have to worry so much about, like, giving up technology in order for, you know, it to be look a certain way or hit a certain price point or whatever. We can just do what's best. Yeah, I love that.
Staying with putters? We're just doing putters?
For now, yeah. No plans to go off the deep end.
I haven't found like a L.A.B driver sitting around anywhere.
They ask a lot. If the USGA would allow us to put the shaft in the middle of the head, 100% we'd be making drivers. But alas, they won't budge on that one.
Sam, thanks for letting me come. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for you've always been so kind to me, sending me putters, checking in, and doing that stuff.
It's my pleasure, because you make great content. What you guys do truly is such an underrated aspect of the landscape of this game right now. You know, you guys are moving the game. You guys are, you know, who's helping people learn about equipment, learn about instruction, and I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.